Welcome to the short little video on how to create an in-cell bar chart simply using the repeat function in Microsoft Excel. Just to start you off, to give an example, notice how on this particular little spreadsheet, if a figure were to change some alternative number, you'll notice how the relative performance chart sort of changes automatically, and we want to show you how to quickly generate something like this, which is great for a little gimmicky thing for sort of dashboards and the like. Just to give you a little overview of what the repeat function actually does. Now, like any formula in Excel, we typically start with an equals, and the function's name is repeat, R-E-P-T. Pressing tab to open up the arguments. And the first portion that you'll notice here is in the argument called text. Now, typically when referring to text characters within this argument, you have to enclose them in quotations. So what I'm going to look to do here is basically take what we know as a pipe symbol, and we're going to choose to repeat that a certain number of times. Now, I've just pressed comma to jump over to the number of times, or enter into the number of times argument. Now, if I was to say, for example, type 23 or 230 as an example, what that would do is take that pipe symbol and repeat it 230 times, giving me 230 pipe symbols. Now, to make sense of this, what we're going to basically look to do is we're going to take this formula we built over here, we're just going to modify it slightly, and we're going to substitute the 230 constant with this percentage value of 23%. Now, bear in mind, in this case, that something that is formatted as a percentage is actually a decimal value. Now, I've just clicked onto the 23% here, and we're changing it back to general. And notice the actual stored value is 0.232. Now, to actually make that into a big number, we'd have to multiply that value by, for example, by 100, which would give us approximately 232. So just keep that in the back of your mind for the moment. So if we go into this formula once again, and we're going to modify this value of 230 to basically be a reference to cell G5, which, bear in mind, contains a small decimal value because it's a percentage at the moment. Now, that would basically result in nothing being displayed because you can't really repeat a character 0.2332 recurring, whatever the figure was, number of times. So basically what we'll do is we'll modify this formula once again, and we're going to simply take that value of G5 and we're going to multiply it by 100. That in turn gives us approximately 23 or so little bars. Now, if I was to copy this formula down by simply double clicking on the waterfall handle, that'll give us approximately 18 bars, approximately 17, 15, and 11 bars for the remaining cells. Now, the clever thing about this is that on its own doesn't seem to be that great, but a very simple formatting trick with these cells selected, if we were to then change this into stencil as the font, you notice what we then end up with are solid condensed bars. Now, in our example, what we did with our formula is we used a multiplier. Depending on your values and the figures that you're referencing, you may have to multiply or divide, and the figure itself that you multiply or divide by may be different to what we're using in this example. Now, we'll just take this a step further, and now what we'll do at the end of each of these little bar charts is we'll look to stitch on the percentage that is displayed in column G. Now, we could use the concatenate function at the end of this formula, but the way we're simply going to do it is to use an ampersand. So using the ampersand symbol, what we're going to look to do is we're going to create a space, and that's just quotations, space, quotations, and we're going to ampersand again. It's another way of joining things together. Now, the way we're going to actually stitch on that value of 23 is we're going to use a function called text. Now, we can't unfortunately just click on the value of 23 because that would show its base underlying value of 0.232 as a decimal value. So by using the text function, what we're actually able to do is to take this value in this cell of G5, and we're able to, by pressing comma, we're able to format that in a very specific way. Now, if you know anything about custom codes in Excel, you could use most, not all, but most of the custom codes that are available in Excel. So what we're going to simply do is display it as a percentage by going 0%. The 0 itself is just a placeholder to forcibly show the number. You could also use a hash in this example. closing the quotations and closing the brackets at the end of the text function, pressing enter, or in this case we'll press Control Enter to stay on the cell. You'll notice how that actually stitches on the value of 23%. And just to copy the formula down again by simply double clicking the autofill handle, you'll notice how that stitches the remaining percentages on the remainder of the bar charts that we've created. So the great thing, of course, is if one of these values were to change to something different, you'll notice, of course, how the relative performance figures change automatically, and so does the percentage, which is just absolutely fantastic. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and we look forward to hearing from you in the future. Cheers.